For this week's lesson, we're going to be inspired by a famous artist by the name of Van Gogh. Actually, it's pronounced Van Gogh. He's from the Netherlands, so that's how they pronounce it over there, but Americans know him as Van Gogh. And he's, a very famous artist now, but during his lifetime, he was not. In fact, he was very poor and suffered from, they believe, epilepsy and some mental health issues, and he just didn't get along with people very well. But nevertheless, he was a genius at painting, and in just a second I'm going to show you the painting that we're going to look at and be inspired by. And it's called Wheat Field with Crows, and we're starting our kind of fall segment of art classes where we're inspired by the changing palette around us, and the leaves and some of the holidays that take place in the fall. So I thought this one would get us started, and I will stop talking right now and pause the video, and the next thing you will see is the a picture of the painting. And I want you to notice the colors. It's a very simple design, and also the way that he's able to get the sense of texture with his brush strokes. So for our version of Van Gogh's work, we're going to use, I don't know, I guess I'm in an indecisive mood today, but you can basically use whatever medium you would like. I think I'm going to make a combination of colored pencils, and I've got some Harvest Gold and dark gray, dark green, the fall colors, kind of a reddish brown, a brown, a black. So I've got those. And then I realized I have absolutely no idea where all of my blue pencils went to. I think they were probably borrowed by somebody else, but that's okay. So I've also have crayons, a couple of different colors of crayons. I've got some oil pastels here, and I think I'm just going to play around with different media. Oh, I've got a whole bunch of crayons here that are in different colors of browns and blacks. So I think you can use whatever medium you would like. You can paint if you want. It's whatever you're inspired by. Now that you've seen our picture, our Van Gogh's work. All right, so the first thing that we want to do, we're not going to use marker for these lines because we want the lines, we actually want the spaces to kind of blend together instead of having, very hard black lines. So we're going to use, remember, the 2/3. I'll draw this a little darker in pencil so you can see, but we're going to draw a horizon line above the halfway point on our paper, 2/3, 1/3 rule. And then we're going to draw kind of a wavy path. So do one side of it. We want it to start, and I'm starting mine a little over to the side of the center line, and it's skinny up at the top, and then as the path gets closer to us, it widens out. And having it winding, kind of makes it a softer composition, a little more visually interesting than just a straight road. And then on this side of the center line, I'm going to draw a small circle for the moon. Now notice what I've done by these placements is that these kind of balance each other out, right? We've got a little off to the center this way, we have a little off to the center that way. So there's a balance in our composition. And that's all of the drawing. So we're going to work on, I'm going to do the wheat fields first. Now, if you recall from the picture, the painting, I'll pick the right P word here, that he had his textures going all over the place, his brush strokes. So now, if you want to, you can have it going up and down only, but we're going to give the impression that there are stalks of wheat still in the field, okay? And so if you're using pencils, if you want to make stronger lines, and fill in a larger space, you can put it onto the side. So what I'm doing is, with the pencils, I'm doing kind of the equivalent of a base coat. So and it's okay if some white still shows through. And I'm going over the horizon line a little bit. Now I hope you kept yours light because my dark one is going to show through, but I wanted to make sure you saw it. So keep your lines really light. And just going to put that color down. Now, if you're using crayons, you can use the same technique, and I will show you how to do that up at the top for the sky. So it's okay if you go over your lines a little bit because that's how nature is, right? And if you're using your pencil, you want to turn it every so often so that you're keeping that point on your pencil. Otherwise it will get very skinny and will break off. So now you'll notice I've shifted the angle of my pencil so that we are doing scribbles. So I'm getting distinct lines now, and I'm going over what I just did. And this will take a little while, so I'm not going to have you watch me do the whole thing, but what you can do is, no matter what medium you are using, you could also make some scribbles with some different colors. Like here I'm using a kind of a reddish brown. And so you can work with the layers a little bit. Okay. So you can work your way down. You can also do this with paint, right? And you don't, if you remember the original painting, you don't have to do it all the same direction. So just keep working it. Okay. You want to use a different color of brown, you can do that. In fact, as I recall, in Van Gogh's work, he had a little bit of green. So it's like the greenery of the season is hanging on just a little bit. You can put just a little bit of green in places too. Okay, so then we're going to work on the path, and I'll show you a part of how to do this. So we're going to put our pencil off to the side. And bring that right up to the area where we've already put our color. Just pausing to check that my video was working. So again, we're putting our base coat down just to get some color there. Don't forget to roll your pencil around so that it doesn't get flat on one side with the lead. Okay. Now with this one we have a different texture, right? And so you can do like little, very short little marks. So see how it's starting to get some texture on there. Okay, and then you can also use a different color brown, just like we did over here, just to kind of give it some and then you can also put some gray if you want. And it's just giving it a little bit of texture. Okay, so that's how you do the path. And then we're going to do the sky. And I'm going to use a lighter oil pastel around the moon because that's where the light is, right? So I'm going to start off by doing that. Again, you can use oil pastels, paint, whatever you want. This is truly a mixed media kind of project. And then we're going to kind of blend in a little darker color here, so we're working from light to dark here. And then we're going to start with blending in the dark. And we're doing our base coat again. This should look, so I've got my crayon on the side. I'm going to mingle that with what we've already done. And you can have your strokes go all over. That. Now, if you're using oil pastels, it's best to use them after you use the crayon, because the paper, the oil pastels has so much wax in them that the crayon doesn't really blend over too well. Then once you get this, then you can start adding some of the texture, right? By just doing stronger strokes. Scribbles again. And you can work at this as long as you want. Okay, so you can put in, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a darker blue. Thought I had one. Well, I'm going to put in some gray into the night. And then I'm going to put some black in. Now I'm making this pretty dark. You can make it a lighter sky if you like. Again, it's just your your preference. I'm not getting real close to the moon with the black. And I'm going to see if I can soften this up just a little bit with a Kleenex. So there's not so much contrast between the black and the blue. Yeah, that looks better. Now, if you're using crayons, you're probably not going to be able to do this step, but that's okay. You probably have softer colors anyway. If you're using, we're fortunate to have blue in your pencil set. You can, excuse me, you can blend that a little bit too. All right, so now around the moon, I'm going to use a little bit of white. Kind of blend that out a little bit so it fades. Get rid of your. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you by showing you how I'm doing the rest of it. I think you get an idea of how to do it, and I want you to just play around and do your own thing. Enjoy. Thank you. Oh, I forgot one thing with my black, the crows. All right, boy, I'm glad I caught that. So with your black crayon or whatever, you're going to make a flock. I don't know if it's called a flock of crows, but you're going to have crows looking for their food over in front of the moon, as well as maybe landing down. So put them in angles and just kind of random. Okay. Put one more over here and then I think we're good. Now I'm done. Thank you.